Please welcome Aroostook County Democrats Chair Jeanette Rivard.
Aroostook Democrats, good afternoon. Let's try that again. Good afternoon. What a great turnout to welcome the husband of our next vice president, the second gentleman. I like the sound of that, don't you? And I really like the fact that the Biden-Harris campaign thinks we're important enough to travel to us in these last few days. I don't remember the last time our votes were treated with such respect. 10 days, 10 short days to reclaim our country. 10 days to do everything we can to make sure that Maine's 2nd Congressional District's Electoral College vote goes to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, I know you're here today to hear from our special guest, but first we will hear from a couple of people, just a couple. So please join me in welcoming our first speaker, Daley Gruen.
Hello, everyone. I'm trying to keep my toes warm right now. But my name is Daley. I am a field organizer with the Maine Democrats in the county, with my co-organizer, Graham V, who I've met as well. And I just want to take a couple minutes to tell you how we're going to the county. And the way that is looks a lot like what I was doing this morning. I was out knocking on doors, knocked on 50 doors, and I had maybe 10, 15 conversations. And I just want to tell you about a couple of those conversations. So the first one, I talked to a young woman as she was bringing in her groceries with 3 of her kids. And I said, hey, do you mind if I bother you? And we had a conversation. I just asked, do you have a plan to vote? And can we count on you to support our candidates? And she said, I just feel like nothing really matters. I feel like all politicians are the same. I'm so sick of all the ads. I'm sick of all the mail. And I said, trust me, I get you, but that's why I'm going around and having these conversations one-on-one so that you and I can cut through the noise. Because eventually at this point, it starts to sound like noise. So if you think that someone else is taking care of it and the ad taking care of it and the mail, it's not the case. These conversations that take care of it. So we want to have a 10-minute conversation where she said that, she likes that Trump guy. He tells it like it is, if you can believe that. And I used her notion by reminding her of the success that we had under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, the longest period of job growth in American history, compared to what we're seeing now. She felt that she was overworked and had no time and no one was supporting her. And I reminded her of the numerous programs that the Democrats are pushing in order to make sure that she is supported. And she by the end of it, really came around. And I think if I didn't knock her all the way over to our side, I at least had her looking at it. And then one other conversation was with someone who said that they knew they were going to vote for Joe Biden, but they just weren't sure yet in the Senate race. And that was an easy one. I'm used to that. And I said, well, here's how I think. I want Biden and Harris as well. I want them to have Senate that can work, that they can stuff, right? Or do we want Mitch McConnell to be in charge? And then all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of that guy. And I was like, we got to get rid of that guy. It's us who gets rid of that guy. It's your vote that gets rid of that guy. So I had probably, I would say, 15 of those conversations today. And over the past 3 days, maybe it's more up to like 50 conversations. I'm looking around this room and I'm counting about 50 people here. If all of us over these next 10 days spoke to 25 people, that is speaking to our margin. That is speaking to our win margin. That's speaking to over 1,200 people. So if you are able and you can join me in doing that, because we've had a very tough time recruiting volunteers to us in the county compared to the rest of the state. If you are able and you can, find some time, because everyone's as busy as you, everyone's as uncomfortable about talking to people about voters as you, but it is about getting outside of your comfort zone, finding a little bit of time, maybe going to bed a little extra tired so that on November 10th, you're not looking back on this week that we have right now, our very last chance to do anything about it with regrets. So I want you guys to find me or find my co-organizer, Graham Rigby, and sign up for 1 or 2 shifts over this next week to make sure that we are getting people out to vote, because we will not win without our effort, okay? So with that, I move on to our next speaker. Great to introduce Senate President Jackson.
Good afternoon, Northern Maine. What a great deal to be here today. I really want to tell you how much I appreciate it. But I also want to start with, I've lived up here my entire life. When I was, I think in the first grade, I actually lived down here by the river in Fort Fairfield. So I honestly think I got a real good understanding of what's going on here in Aroostook County. And why I'm so happy that Biden-Harris campaign actually took the time to come here to Northern Maine. We've got a great group of people up here, and we have a lot of opportunity, but I know going across this county, Northern Maine, there's a lot of people that are frustrated with where they are in their life. And to tell you the truth, I understand that very well, because I am too. There's, like I said, great opportunity here still. We have a natural resources industry, both in farming and logging, that still has great opportunity. But what we have in this president is basically a con man that has never done anything to help everyday working class people across this county or this United States. Tax cuts for the wealthy is not going to help the people that I care about. They've never helped the people I care about. As the Senate President of the state of Maine, I've tried consistently with some of my colleagues to try and help everyday working class people by sending letters asking for help from the federal government. And the Trump administration has failed time and time again. Be it either, like I said, in farming or in logging. In logging, we have foreign truckers out of Canada that are coming here, taking what opportunity we have, and it's consistently falling on deaf ears in Washington. And that's why I'm so happy with this campaign, that not only did they come here today, but they're actually listening to what's going on with everyday people here in Aroostook County. Like I said, we have those occupations, those industries that we could do a lot better at with some help from the federal government. We're one of the few places in the United States that is not connected onto the national power grid here in Presque County. And in addition to that, how long has it been that people have been told that we would have an interstate system coming here to Presque County. Both those two things right there, with the Build Back Better plan, to actually do investment in Maine, in the United States, would actually be huge to start bringing people here. In addition to that, when you leave here, how many of you have trouble continuing to get your cell phone service or getting any broadband at your house? How many people are actually struggling with that across this county? There's no way that we can keep up with the rest of the world if we don't have critical infrastructure like all those things together. And so the Biden-Harris plan, the Buy American plan, to actually invest here in places like Aroostook County is huge. Not only that, they have a plan that says that in areas that have been underserved and left behind for years and years, they're going to give special attention to those areas. That's why this campaign is really a big deal in these last 10 days. We were told 4 years ago, I heard it, I remember people saying, that Trump was going to change NAFTA, which is a big deal to me, but nothing changed with that. All they did was change the name of a bad trade deal. We need people that actually is going to fight for everyday working class people, and I know Joe Biden has been doing that for a long time. He has a record of actually standing up for working people, standing up for unions, which I'm very supportive of. That's why I think it's time that people understand that this campaign means that somebody's going to be in our corner. Not in the Wall Street elites, the wealthy, the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, and everyday working class Mainers, Aroostook County people's corner. That's why I'm here today. And I got to make sure I'm here today with my good friend, Representative McCrae, and good friend, Senator Carpenter, and Chief Sisbatis over here. They represent this area. And they're fighting like crazy, like I am, on the main level. But look, we can spend all of our time, we can spend all of our energy doing what we can on the state legislative level, and we will, for as long as we're all there. But if you don't have a willing partner in the federal government, you're not going to get the big things accomplished that you need. Even on what we've done with trying to import prescription drugs from Canada, because they're not raiding people's pockets in Canada like they do in this country. We cannot do that. Even when we pass laws here in Maine, we cannot do that with a willing partner in the federal government. That's why we need Biden and Harris to win this election, because that's the only way we're going to get where we deserve to be. So again, I'm just going to close, like I said. I'm 52 years old. I'm the Senate President of the state of Maine. It's a wicked honor for me. But I know that there's more that has to be done. I know that we've been left behind. I know that I've been left behind for far too long. And that's why I want to make sure that there's somebody in the White House that's going to have my back, is going to have my family's back, is going to have your back, and is going to have Presque County. And that's why I'm here today to introduce the first second gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff.
You might like it. That's exactly right. He was giving a speech for me, but I'm going to rail what he said. He had it right. I'm so happy to be here in Maine. I've been here before. I grew up in New Jersey, and I came up here a lot of the winters, and I stayed here virtually on behalf of this campaign, and now I'm here in person in northern Maine to talk to you all. So thank you for having me. It really is an honor to be here, so thank you. Oh, and I'll use the mic this time. Is that better? I'm talking into an empty mic stand, and nobody said anything, so thank you for that. It's been a long day, but we're going to do the work. We are going to do the work, Maine. Senator Carpenter here. Senator Carter. Senator McCrae, how are you? Representative Martin, where are you at? Okay, well, good to see you anyway. And your county chair, Jeanette Rivard, where are you? She gave me a great present. I can't wait to open it. So thank you for that. That means a lot to me. And thanks to Stev and Nancy for letting us use this amazing facility. Are they here? Well, thank you. Thank you so much. These are beautiful grounds. You have your Bluegrass Festival here, and I can see why. 10 times driving into this event, we said, "Did you see that?" She said, "It's so beautiful here." So I appreciate it, and it's pretty incredible. I want to thank the Lundin family for the tour of their potato farm. That was incredible, so thank you for doing that. That family farm really is an example of the sort of business that is essential to the success of this community and in the success of the state and really our entire country. So that is a remarkable facility. And I got to see the conveyor belt. I almost got on the tractor, but they wouldn't let me. But next time. And I heard 60 years ago, not far from here, President John F. Kennedy made a campaign stop right near here. And he said, "We don't criticize our opponents because we think there is something wrong with this country. We try to do our job because we believe that this is the greatest country in the world." And I couldn't agree more with that. That sounds like something I hear from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris every day, that this country, this state, is better than what we're getting right now. And that's going to change when we elect them. So we've got, thank you. And that's why, Maine, I know, like the rest of this country, we're going to work so hard for these next just 10 days to elect my friend, Joe Biden, as the next president of the United States, and my wife, Kamala Harris, as the next vice president. And I actually love saying that. It's pretty cool. So we're getting used to it. Now, I think you all know by now that I love Kamala Harris. I really do. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her. But I knew Joe Biden a little bit before we got on the ticket. But now that we've been on this ticket with the Bidens for these last 2.5 months, and we get to spend time with them, and we get to see them and see them behind the scenes and have interactions with each other between the events, I got to tell you something. I love Joe Biden too. That man is incredible. He's smart. He's compassionate. He's ready to lead. As the state senator said, he has the experience. He's done it before, and he's going to do it again. So that's why I'm crisscrossing this country each and every day, working 24/7 to help Joe Biden become our next president, Kamala Harris as our next president. Now, Troy talked about a lot of the things that we're also hearing around the country. So I'm traveling the country too, and like you here, talking to a lot of Americans who are so concerned about health care, and they have pre-existing conditions all over the country, and they are terrified. They are terrified right now that health care is going to be taken away from them by this administration, who is in court right now with a case trying to rip it apart in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm meeting people all over the country who are terrified. I meet working parents who are just trying to get by with kids at home. They can't even go back to school. They can't afford basics, childcare, paid family leave, all the basics that aren't happening right now that are made worse in a pandemic. These folks terrified. We talked about it. Farmers facing ruin, not only because of the bad trade deals, but because of climate change. Climate change that this administration is not taking seriously, as we've seen. I've gone all over the country meeting with voters, organizers, and volunteers, like you met
earlier with that great speech. They're all out there because they know we need change. And that's why these young people are working on this campaign all over the country, going door to door, knocking on doors, making those phone calls, having those hard conversations, because they're fired up. People all over this country are ready for change. And I leave every one of these events inspired by the passion and the dedication of everyone around this country who is helping us on this campaign in their communities. And you can really see the power of our democracy. You really see, flawed though it might be in some cases, we're hanging on because we have a strong democracy, and we're going to show the world that we're going to elect Joe and Kamala because we're tired of what this administration is doing to our country and to our democracy. We're not going to take it anymore. And I'm asked all the time, what's at stake? What's at stake in this election? You know, when people say, oh, all politicians are the same, they're not. Because right now, everything's at stake. This isn't a cliche when they say, oh, this is the most important election of lifetimes. This actually is that election. We talked about healthcare. We talked about climate. We talked about our very democracy. But like I said, I've seen people out there, because of this pandemic, because of what's going on in the economy, because of their fear about losing their health care. Many already have lost it because they've lost their jobs. Our very lives are at stake in this election, and that is not an understatement. Our very lives are at stake in this election, and that's why we need to change course. I also hear everywhere around the country, and I know I feel it myself, and I know you do too. I don't want to wake up on November 4th feeling that I didn't do everything I could to help Joe and Kamala win this election. That's why we're traveling around the country, Joe, Jill, Kamala, myself, the thousands of people working on the campaign, the millions of people who are supporting us, because we know we need to change course. And no one wants to wake up on that day, just 10 days from now, knowing we didn't do everything we could. So that's why we're doing this, and that's why it's so important. I met college students all over the country, some of who've taken gap years, and they're just literally going door to door in their dorms, trying to get people committed. I met a veteran, a home health care worker, who has to take extra shifts at work, is using every spare second of her time to advocate for good jobs and quality and affordable health care for all, because it's that important. I met a young woman from North Omaha who was excited to cast her first ballot for the first black woman vice president. She wants to be a lawyer so she can change our justice system for the better, just like Kamala did, and just so in Kamala. But the only way we're going to make these changes is for all of us to show up vote on November 3rd and before. So we're talking about early voting on the country, and you see on TV and all over social media millions and millions of people who are voting. In Ohio right now, and she was sending me some photos that she was taking from the lines there. People are fed up, they're sick and tired of this lack of leadership, and that's why by the tens of millions they've already voted. And why? Because Joe and Kamala are going to be ready on day one to tackle these dark chapter that we're in and these horrible problems that we're going through. Let's talk about the virus. We now know that this administration knew about it in January, didn't do anything about it, tried to brush it off. They're still brushing it off. They're not taking it seriously. There's no plan about doing spreader events all over the country. It's totally irresponsible without a plan. Joe and Kamala are going to be ready on day one. Look at us here. Everyone here is wearing a mask. We're distancing. We're being considerate and careful. But Joe and Kamala are also going to do testing. Testing that's not only free, but that it's quick and it's available, because when you get the result in 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. Free treatment for all, that's given. That's only to help the people who get the virus, but to help everyone else. Everyone else gets protected when you can get over that virus. Contact tracing. You saw that super spreader at the White House. They didn't even tell the folks who had it. Then they instructed the CDC not contact tracing, irresponsible. Joe and Carl are going to get to these spreader events, contact tracing. And finally, a vaccine. We want a vaccine. We're not going to trust the word of Donald Trump on it. We're going to trust science on a vaccine. You just scratch your head. You scratch your head when you see the President of the United States attacking the science. It doesn't make sense. But we're going to go with science, and I don't think I've met anyone around this country when I've done these events who's going to trust this administration to fairly and equitably distribute a vaccine. We can't. They got us into this mess with virus. Now look at the economy. We cannot trust them to get us out of it. We need Joe and Kamala to do that. Now, I love what Troy was saying about the economy, because I've been saying that all around the country. Trump likes to brag about the economy. Woe is me, but for the virus, we were great. You said it. Yeah, if you own stocks. Most people don't own stocks. If you're a beneficiary of that tax cut, which is top 1%, and all these corporations who are paying no tax. But for the vast majority of us, it's not going well. And everything that wasn't going well is worse now because of their failure on the pandemic. I'm traveling across this country. When I come up to my events, I'm seeing boarded up storefronts, boarded up stores, boarded up factories. That's what I'm seeing. That is the result of this poor economy coming in, and it's just gotten worse and worse because of their failure on the pandemic. And that is a fact. We need Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to come in and fix this thing. Joe Biden was entrusted by President Barack Obama in the Great Recession to get us out of that mess. And he did it. He did it. He got us back on track. He's going to do it again because they value people. They value working people. They value jobs, not just wealth. They're going to invest in the economy here. As you said, they're going to invest in the economy all over the country, and they're going to value jobs, 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 jobs. And as we transition, and you heard Joe the other night at the debate, as we transition over time to a clean energy economy, one, that's great for the environment, and two, it means millions of good-paying jobs. This should not be controversial. It's not. It's a clean economy, a great economy, and a clean environment. And that's what we're going to go towards, and that's what Joe and Kamala will do. Issues here, we got to reinvest in rural health care. We have to, and I see that all over the country in my travels too. Too many hospitals are closing around the country, especially in rural America. So communities in Maine and across this country don't have access to the specialty care that they need, including mental health services. We have a plan to keep rural hospitals open, invest in community health centers, and increase the number of healthcare professionals who are leaving the profession because these facilities are closing. So the cycle keeps going. You talked about broadband. Imagine you are in Aurora, then the hospital closes, and oh, you do telemedicine. Really? How can you do that without the broadband working? So it's all connected. And it's also employment. Usually in rural communities, the local hospital and healthcare providers are big employers. So when they down, good paying jobs go as well. It's got to change. We've got to build our economy back. We cannot trust these folks who got us here to get us out. We need Joe and Kamala to do it. We need to invest in education. I see it too all over the country. Young people are just left to their own devices. We've got to invest in education, training, trade school, community college, student debt relief. We've got to get our young folks into this new economy that we're talking about. And elders, my parents, they're in their 80s. They're in California, they're scared, they're alone, they're isolated, they're nervous. And that's what's going on all across this country too. So we've got to protect our seniors. We've got to protect Social Security. Whenever I hear them talking about that payroll tax, that means we're cutting Social Security. It's outrageous, especially during a pandemic. We've got to stop. That will change. All these issues, I can go on for another hour, but the fact is, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who I know and love, they get it. They just get it. They understand. They're about family. They're about faith. They're about community. And Joe Biden, Joe is a man of deep, deep conviction. He's a man of heart. He's a man of dignity. He has faced his share of loss, we know that, but he's also faced his share of love. And that's what we need right now. And my wife, Kamala Harris, daughter of immigrants, product of the American dream, standing up for millions and millions of people to show them what can be, unburdened by what has been. And I am so proud of her. But they've never forgotten who they are, and they're never going to forget where they're from. And that's why we need Joe and Kamala to lead us out of this, because they have spent their whole lives working for us, the people, not for themselves like Donald Trump. So we have 10 days, folks. 10 days. That's it. So with your help, we're going to win this state. We're going to take care of Maine. And this is an important one here. They're only sending me the ones that are, these so-called swing states, but every place I go, it's the same. People are tired. People are stressed out. People are traumatized by what's gone on these last 4 years. That's why you're seeing tens of millions of people who've already voted. That's why you're here. That's why people are showing up all over the country. So we're going to win Maine. We're going to win this election, and we're going to win big. And we're going to win big because people are sick and tired, and we're going to win big. We want to big. We want to show this guy that we're going to win so big that no matter what he does or says, he's not going to be able to refute it. He's going to go. He's going to. So make a plan, folks. iwillvote.com/ME. It's got all the information on early voting and voting. Tell your friends, family members. I don't care how you get it out there. You can vote right now at your local clerk's office here. You can return absentee ballots if you've already requested them. And of course, you vote safely on November 3rd, too. Don't let them tell you anything about voting. Voting is easy. Voting is our right. And the reason they are putting forward this misinformation and all these attacks, which aren't, because how many people are voting, they know we vote things change. They don't want things to change. We do. We do. So let's get up. 10 days. Let's do the work, Maine. Northern Maine is going to win us this election. We're going to win it right here. And we go to the White House, and we're going to make some change. Thank you so much.